and welcome to the It's All About Missions video. And we're doing another missions devotional. We're going to be in Romans 1 verse number 14. Romans 1 verse number 14 says this: I am debtor both to the Greeks and to the barbarians, both to the wise and to the unwise. Here Paul is writing this, he's saying this: I am debtor. I am debtor. Now what is a debtor? You may be wondering what that word is, maybe you're not familiar with it, but a debtor, someone who owes a debt. That's what they owe. So like if you go to the bank and you borrow money, you say, hey, I need money to get a car, to buy a house, you are debtor to that bank. You owe money to that bank. Paul though is saying this, I am debtor. I am debtor. You want to know who he said he was debtor to? I'm debtor both to the Greeks and to the barbarians, both to the wise and to the unwise. Paul's saying there, that sums up everybody. He says, I am debtor. Guess what? He owed his life to take the gospel to them. He says, I owe them. You see, Paul realized that Jesus came and he died on the cross and paid for his sins and that he was bought with the price. He realized that his life wasn't his own. And so because his life wasn't his own, he owed a debt to the world. That debt that he owed to the world was getting the gospel to them. And he said, I have a debt. I have to pay the world what I know. And what he knew was Jesus Christ. And he says, I owe a debt. There are people dying and going to hell, and I owe it to them to share the gospel with them. And Paul lived his life that way. He lived his life as a debtor that he owed to every man he met. He said, I have a responsibility. I owe it to this person to get them the gospel. You see, he heard the message. He was saved. He knew heaven was his home. He said, I know there's people who don't know, so I owe it to them. We as Christians need to have that same mindset. We need to have the mindset that I am debtor, that I owe the gospel to the world because Jesus Christ came, and if you're saved, Jesus Christ came and he died on the cross for your sins. And if you put your faith and trust and you believe that he died and rose again the third day and you're a Christian, you know heaven's your home, then guess what? You owe a debt to the whole rest of the world. You owe it to everybody in the world to get the gospel to them. Because guess what? Your life has changed. Christ changed you. We owe everything to Christ, but we owe everything to get the gospel to the world. We owe our life to Christ. We're not our own. We are bought with a price. And therefore, we should live our lives as debtors to the world, saying, I owe everyone I meet the chance and the opportunity to hear the gospel. I owe that to them. But many times we live our lives like we own our own lives. That's all about us, that we don't owe anybody anything. Actually, what's sad today in the world today is everyone says, no, the world owes me. Everybody owes me. It's all about me. But as Christians, our lives are not about me. You know what our lives are about? Jesus Christ and others. That is what our life is all about. We need to be willing our lives to live as debtors, saying, I owe it to every single individual, whether they're wise, whether they're smart, whether they're different skin colors, whether they live in the United States, whether they live in Africa or Asia or Europe. I owe the gospel to them. And by having that mindset that we owe the gospel to the world, it should motivate you to do more. It should motivate you at least first to pray for the need all around the world. You should be motivated to pray and to pray for laborers to be sent. But it should also motivate you to give. Because if you realize that you owe a debt to the whole world, you should say, look, I can't get to everywhere. I can't get to the whole world, but I can at least give some money. I can give towards and financially give and help people get the gospel to the world. But most importantly, having this mindset that I am debtor, that you owe it to the world to get them the gospel, it should motivate you to go, to give your life to go, and to take the gospel and to preach the gospel and to train men and to plant churches and to work all around the world to see people reached with the gospel because we owe it to them. You see, people in this world are dying and headed straight towards hell. They're headed straight towards hell, and most of them have never heard one time, and we owe that to them. We owe them the opportunity to hear the gospel because we have the good news of salvation. We have salvation. We have heaven as our home. I want to challenge you to live your life with the mindset that I owe it. I owe a debt. I owe it to the world to get them the gospel because I have the news of salvation. I have what the world needs. I have exactly what they need because my life has been changed by Christ, and I owe it. And as you have that mindset of I am debtor, it'll motivate you to pray, and it'll motivate you to give more to missions. But even more importantly, it should motivate you to go and to do everything you can to get the gospel all around the world. And if we have the I am debtor mentality, it'll allow us to see the world reached in this generation. Thank you for joining us on It's All About Missions. And if we'd like for you to go and to like the video you just watched, but also if you could do us a favor and subscribe to our channel, this will help you know when we post new videos and new things and new content here that you can follow and you can watch. One other thing to note here, as you can see, We've got the opportunity for you to go back and watch previous Country of the Week, Country Spotlights here. You can go watch those. Or down here you can watch our most recent missions video, missions updates videos, and go to those. But thank you again for joining us. And please invite your friends to come and to watch these videos, and let's see the world reached with the gospel in this generation.